We're too early to say this. You're too early to say this. Manchester United are a team to be reckoned with. They are terrifying. Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Yeah, they probably should have spent 222 million on Pogba.
Yeah, that's what happens.
They actually It just took some time.
I like what he's been described as.
Not that I was patient, but halfway through last season.
Our fellow good Manchester United fan and contributor, Philip De Bruyne, says that he is a Rolls Royce footballer. You know, he just cruises around, nice purr on him, good football.
Yeah, he very much likes Manchester United.
Yeah, he does. He's
my takeaway from Phil.
Like, at least I try and hide it a little bit and try to be somewhat reasonable.
Why can't I find who scored in the Everton game?
Oh, it's, by the way, whilst we're shooting this Monday, of course,
maybe it was Rooney.
1-0 to Everton at the moment.
At halftime.
At halftime.
The game will be over.
The game will be over, and
Rooney got his goal. Rooney got his 200th Premier League goal.
This guy's
breaking news.
What did I say, by the way? No. I'm going to get one good prediction at a time.
Jesus Christ.
Premier League talking point. We were doing teams that were. We were discussing teams, should I say, that could make a good run at the Premier League pending their signings this season. I did mention Wayne Rooney and their new system where he's not the main man, but he can do the things that he did best. I mean, he's younger than Cristiano Ronaldo. I have to state that every time I mention Rooney because everyone's like, he's too old. Younger than Ronaldo. You were surprised the last time.
Jason's
memory is gone. But I said,
when have I ever had memory?
I know. In this system with Everton not being the main man and not having every single form of criticism directed towards him whenever anything goes wrong, like what happened towards the tail end of his United career, he'll be given the opportunity and the freedom, the weight off his shoulders to play better. And he's been showing it already. 2 goals in 2 games. That's better than what he had as a return in the last, 2 years, not in the terms of the goals, but goals to game ratio, you know what I mean, for Manchester United. So, good for him.
Manchester United's winning 4-0 and 4-0 is absolute demolition. Especially when you see Martial, I thought one of the not good subs, he's been doing it for a year now, I believe, Mourinho, but subbing in Martial for Rashford, and Martial immediately scoring 6 minutes later just to show that they're hungry.
They are. They're fighting for spots
like
as well.
me with lunch.
Very good comparison, if you know Jason, between the hours of 11:30 and 12:30. Hence why I just walked in the studio with a big bag
of McDonald's.
But it's because they're hungry, Jason. It's the hunger is there. Marcus Rashford this season, he's got all the attributes, but he has to be more clinical. He has chances in front of goal, and if he doesn't take them, he's going to be pushed to the side. I mean, he's going to mature. He's going to be a fantastic footballer. We've already seen that. But with Anthony Martial, he in a way had proved himself early on in his Manchester United career, worthy to be there, very exciting to watch. Then he fell by the wayside, and he's fighting for his spot. And when he comes off the bench, he's got everything that I think Marcus Rashford has in terms of the pace, the direct ability. His confidence is low. That's what the problem with Martial was. His confidence was low. But he comes on and he scores, and that's a big plus for him. And I think if he continues to score, they're going to be so dominant. Lukaku on the score sheet again. Pogba playing out of his mind.
Seriously.
Again, I'm joking. Of course, it's too early to say someone's going to win the Premier League, but it's not too early to say that the decisions that Jose Mourinho made in the offseason are working.
Because look, as we know, it's not just a too early thing. It's just you have to roll with what you see.
Yes.
And 8-0 means something. It's not like there was 2 1-0 victories, and they just look like a different Manchester United. They look like they want it.
Absolutely.
Way more than they have in the 3 years they've been doing this. In addition, really quick, Sadio Mane with an ugly but got the job done goal for Liverpool's 3 points.
Yeah.
And Arsenal dropping 1-0, which again, I have nothing against Arsenal. It's just always funny, no matter what. When they win.
Come on.
My heart goes out to the match that took place before Tottenham and Chelsea. To the True Geordie at John Smith Stadium, where Newcastle lost again.
By the way, shout out to True Geordie. His show was fantastic. The kickoff, I tuned in. I couldn't watch it for the 5 hours it was on for, but my God.
I watched about 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Very good stuff. I'm sure if we were in England, he would have us on. He's a big fan of both of us, good friends. I've only met him once, Jason.
Again, it looks
challenging him over Twitter to a fight.
It looks deceiving, but we're the same size.
Yeah, of course.
It's just it's the angles he uses, and the angles we use. It's very different.
It took 2 Premier League games before the clip came from Arsenal Fan TV.
Oh shit!
Same old Arsenal. 2 games.
All right, we're gonna
There's got to be some sort of record.
Can we leave him alone?
How can we leave him alone? They just lost.
I know. We leave him alone. Maybe next week we'll come back to him.
It's the only team that has that much expectation but falls by the wayside quicker than Arsenal is Rangers, of course, because they're already 5 points behind. So.
You see the Instagram I sent out not too long ago?
What?
Celtic was on. They were the Champions League qualifier was rerun late at night, and it was like if you look close enough, you squint.
Yeah, and if you thought that Conor McGregor couldn't move any further up in my ranks.
What, is he a Celtic fan?
No, remember he tweeted out that photo because we used his slogan. And the Green Brigade.
He very much could be Snoop Dogg-esque in his football.
Nah, there's no chance. He's from Dublin. Come on, there's a lot of Celtic fans in that area. But Jason, to get to the main substance of the clip, why is that the main substance of the clip? Jason?
Or is it? Oh, so all week, as of last Monday, a week ago, I said 1-1 draw, and I was very confident in a 1-1 draw because I thought going into it, my expertise, if you will, which really doesn't exist. It's just my observations that some of you guys watch and they go, Jason doesn't know anything about football. And I go, you're right, but I still sit here. 1-1 draw, right? And in the 82nd minute, I'm so ecstatic. I text Francis immediately because their back four for Tottenham was holding up fine. I was scared. A couple of times with some disastrous passing in the midfield for Tottenham against Chelsea. There was some diabolically bad turnovers from about the 50th minute to the 70th minute where I'm going, oh my God, they're going to counter and blow the door open. But then in that last 10 minutes, they had some strong counter attack defense, especially on the Chelsea attacking on the left wing until Alonso got through and absolutely put a screamer past Hugo Lloris, and then so it sinks in that it's not a 1-1 draw. And a 2-2 draw doesn't do me any justice. Even worse is it dawns on me that you said 2-1. I text you at the 82nd minute, told you 2-1 draw, and then 4 minutes later, I fucking hate soccer.
This is Chelsea. I don't think there's going to be a second-year curse. I mean, everyone thinks that because of the team that's in front of them, and they lost Matic and blah, blah, blah. It's what happens to Chelsea. I think that's more so a Chelsea that was unstable and rotating managers too much. I just feel like Antonio Conte has a little bit more of a grasp on his dressing room, as you can see with the passion and everything that happened with that. The 3 minutes before the end, Marcos Alonso, by the way, which a free kick, his first goal, frightening. Well, I just feel like Morata missed a sitter early on as well, but I just feel like they have something about them that they still have that sense of unity, and I thought that was shown throughout. I thought that Tottenham had chances where they could have easily pulled, after they brought it back, they could have pulled forward and moved ahead. But something about this Chelsea team that in my gut I felt, even if they do struggle through this game, which they did in large parts, they'll still pull out a victory. And that's all you need at the start of the season.
I wanted to mention Harry Kane because I'm watching in the second half. I felt like Harry Kane had his back to goal a lot, and he was trying to muscle his way, but Chelsea's back four held strong, whoever was marking him, the two center backs who were marking him. So Bakayoko and the rest of Chelsea's back four, when they were marking on, not just marking because it's following, but when they were pressing up on Harry Kane, Harry Kane's big and tall and he's strong, but he's doesn't have the same brute strength as actually Diego Costa has, and speaking of might be going to Atletico, that's in the works, but not done yet. I found it interesting because it seemed like he wasn't able to create for Dele Alli or Eriksen. That was one takeaway. The other one I had with Dele Alli is he's getting far more creative on the left wing, and he almost had an unbelievable, his own left foot to himself, cutting across. But again, the second they got into the box, it seemed like all of what they were trying to accomplish when they got tight to goal fell apart. And they couldn't create enough chances to really break through. And that could be either a stubborn back four for Chelsea. It might have been some missed opportunities for Tottenham. But at a 1-1 draw, I thought would have been an absolutely great takeaway for them in their first home game at technically Wembley. And they technically dropped the ball. And that's a team that if Tottenham wants to win the Premier League, and they have the talent, man. I don't think they can do it, but they do have the talent.
Well,
takeaways.
There's a few things to definitely take away. Like Antonio Conte, was so versatile. I mean, this is a team that won the Premier League last year, and because of the adjustment and Matic moving out, like he had David Luiz and Bakayoko playing as holding midfielders in front of the back three, and allowing for when Azpilicueta push forward, and someone else would tuck back in, and that's what you need. Is you need, like, when you look at those three central midfielders, technically with the way they lined up, you've got N'Golo Kante, David Luiz, and Bakayoko. That's just three defensive-minded players. Like David Luiz, I know from his time at PSG, reverted back to a centre-back, and then towards the end of his career at Chelsea, he ventured into defensive midfield. I still think he's better as a defender, but Antonio Conte is not going to be hesitant in trying to bring more out of his players. This is why Victor Moses was able to thrive under Antonio Conte, where he was passed to the wayside at both Liverpool and previously at Chelsea. He's getting more out of these players because he knows that they need to buy into the system, so that they can allow for when Eden Hazard is back fully fit, so that he can allow for those players to be more free in the attacking third. Because when you get Willian, sorry, I don't know why I emphasised the "and" because I always think Willian.
It's Boateng.
Yeah, well, like Willian, he has almost a free role in that attacking third as well, and he was creative in there. He just shot that struck the post. But I think that once they start to click a little bit more, and Hazard comes back, that's when you're going to really start to see Chelsea be more threatening going forward. But as far as the result goes, that's an amazing result already away from home against Tottenham, when you're coming off the back of a shocking start against Burnley. So I think that everything that they wanted to do and they set out to do, they were able to accomplish in that game. And I think they'll still be Premier League contenders going forward.
Last up, and we'll make this really quick because we're running a little bit long, the weekend of Premier League action, now that there's 2 under the belt, the third week before we go into, I believe, another break, is stacked. Manchester United is hosting Leicester City. More importantly, Chelsea, another tough one, hosting Everton, and Liverpool and Arsenal are going at each other.
Yeah,
so
I love the early, the same thing happened last year, early season Liverpool-Arsenal games. I like them a lot because two of them are defensively weak at times, but also and also aggressive in their attacking approach. So it'll be a good game. If you want my prediction early at this point, I think Arsenal get back to winning ways, and I think they win 2-1. There you go.
Arsenal win 2-1 against Liverpool? I don't make predictions anymore. I'm like Morty from Rick and Morty. Did you watch? I show you clips here and there.
Show me clips. I almost feel like I lived through it just from you talking to me about it.
10 adventures, Morty gets to choose the adventure. It's like every 10 predictions, I get one right.
Okay.
So, you know, you say 2-1 Arsenal. The problem is I like that, but I gotta be contrarian. 2-2 draw.
Wow. Not a bad one. All right, comment below. Premier League action. Huddersfield, by the way, they deserve the credit. After I know we gave sympathy to Newcastle.
They're like second on the table.
Second on the table, 2 wins, 2 for 2, up there with Everton, who also deserve another.
Well, we don't know. What's the score? Look, you want real-time news? You get real-time news.
Even if they still, they
1-0 in the 50th.
They basically won the first game, and they're beating Manchester City at the moment. Let's hope. All right, see you guys soon.